The first divorce on our list is a messy one at that. Number 10, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. Unlike the other divorces on this list, it isn't expensive because of the settlement, but the actual legal fees and lawyers that seemingly added up to cost them loads of money. The couple were deemed legally single in 2019, but the custody battle and trips to the courthouse are still going on. They spend $10,000 a day on a private judge, and each spend around $1,500 an hour for their lawyers, who have been reported to work 40 to 50 hours a week. There's no exact amount spent yet, but I think we can put together a fairly rough guess of a whole lot. Coming in at number 9, even though it should really be number 2, is Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. I'm sure you've heard, no pun intended, all about this case, if not watched it. Amber Heard and Johnny Depp went at each other's necks in this broadcasted court case, and let us watch all of it. But we won't get all into that. Amber Heard reportedly makes $10,000 a month, but requested from Depp that he gives her spousal support of $50,000 a month, because her cost of living is $44,000 each month. Depp did exactly that, and has paid out Amber Heard $6.8 million so far for her basic living. $44,000 a month doesn't sound too basic to me, but I guess designer clothes and vacations every other week are considered necessities.
No human being is perfect, certainly not. None of us have never in my life committed sexual battery.
Number 8 on this list goes to former Beatles bass guitar and vocalist Paul McCartney and his ex-wife, former model and activist Heather Hills. The divorce was a rough one. Married in 2002 and burned out fairly quick as they split up a staggering 4 years after in 2006. Don't worry, it didn't end in 2006 because the divorce lasted another 2 years. They eventually came to a settlement. Hills initially sought after $250 million, but the final settlement was $48.6 million awarded to Hills. $48.6 million, don't get me wrong. That is a crazy amount of money. But wait until we get to number 1 on this list. That $46 million looks like pennies. Number 7, our beloved Madonna and film director Guy Ritchie. Madonna, the queen of pop, was married to the film director for 8 years when this took a turn in 2008. Now, Madonna and Guy Ritchie both agreed not to make any public statements, but trusted news sources have reported that Madonna paid Ritchie anywhere between $76 million and $92 million. Madonna, also known as Material Girl, has a net worth of $850 million, so don't worry, she stayed on top. And Madonna can do better anyways. Number 6, Kevin Costner and his ex-wife Cindy Silva, who were thought to be high school sweethearts, fell out of love after 16 years of marriage. With 3 kids, Kevin Costner's acting career took off, starring in my personal favorite baseball film, Field of Dreams, and many other all-time classics. When the couple fell out of love, they hit the courtroom with a hefty settlement that definitely put a dent in Costner's pocket, as he had to pay $80 million to his now ex-wife Cindy Silva. Number 5, Harrison Ford and Melissa Matheson. 17 years, not strong enough because Han Solo found interest in another woman. Of course, his then wife found out about the new affair and they left the rest up to the judge. This divorce lasted 3 years from 2001 to 2004, and the final payout to his ex-wife was a whopping $118 million. If you weren't considering it before, I highly recommend that everyone watching this marries rich. Number 4 on this list goes to the man who should have maybe just not got married to begin with. Tiger Woods and Eleanor DeGrim. What a mess that marriage and divorce was. Just because he's the best golfer of all time definitely doesn't mean he's gonna be the best husband. Tiger got caught with multiple affairs. Tiger definitely recollected himself after seeing the settlement amount going directly to his ex-wife. He got hit with a $100 million settlement, which wouldn't be the best news you could receive, but it was way better than the $750 million she initially wanted. Number 3, the GOAT Michael Jordan and his ex-wife. MJ. 17 years of marriage and he couldn't just stay loyal. Private investigators is said to have witnessed MJ in dozens of compromised situations with girls throughout 1992 to 2002. They did try to work out their marriage for a while, but eventually in 2006, they came to the mutual decision to split paths. On top of splitting paths, MJ also had to split a quick check for $168 million. Yes, the settlement was an earth-shattering $168 million. But to put that into perspective, Air Jordan just crossed over $5 billion in sales annually, so I don't think he even noticed the money was gone. Number 2, Mel Gibson and Robyn Moore. 31 years, 7 kids, and a strong marriage at that. but it ended with a boom. And when I say boom, I mean a $425 million boom. Almost $500 million. They had no prenuptial agreement, and according to the California law, Robyn was entitled to half of his worth, which at the time was $850 million. Robyn definitely cheered up quickly after that divorce. I mean, who wouldn't be single for $425 million? I don't care how much they were in love, there's definitely smiles that day. At number 1, we have a divorce settlement that is more Jeff Bezos and his ex-wife Mackenzie Scott. Jeff Bezos, once being the richest man in the world, should have known way better not to get a prenup. But he didn't, and in the end, the billions of dollars his ex-wife got in the settlement goes to show that even the richest and smartest man in the world still get love struck. How many billions, you might ask? $38 billion. One more time for the people in the back. $38 billion. I wouldn't even know what to do with $1 billion, let alone 38 of them. Jeff, I know you're still a billionaire, but that definitely hurt a bit.
Starting off this countdown at number 10, Miley Cyrus is banned from China. Miley Ray Cyrus is an American singer, songwriter, and actress. Known for her distinctive raspy voice, her music incorporates elements of varied styles and genres, including pop, country pop, hip hop, experimental, and rock. She's attained the most US Billboard 200 top 5 albums in the first 21st century by a female artist, with a total of 13 entries. As Hannah Montana, she attained 2 number 1 and 3 top 5 soundtracks on the US Billboard 200, including the US Billboard Hot 100 top 10 single He Could Be the One. Cyrus's own discovery includes the US number 1 albums Meet Miley Cyrus, Breakout, and Bangers. The top 5 releases Can't Be Tamed, Younger Now, Plastic Hearts, and the free album Miley Cyrus and Her Dead Pets. However, she hasn't always been great, and it's really bad when an entire country bans you. But racism is pretty unforgivable, so it's understandable. Back in 2009, Miley Cyrus was banned from China when she shared a photograph of her and her friends mocking the Asian community. The pop star was seen pulling her eyes back to make them slanted. The Hannah Montana alum gave a dull apology, saying she was just having a laugh and making a goofy face, but the Chinese government was not having it. They replied that they had no interest in further polluting their children's minds with her American ignorance. Number 9, Blake Lively is banned from Disneyland. Blake Lively is an American actress. Born in Los Angeles, Lively is the daughter of actor Ernie Lively, and made her professional debut in his project Sandman. She starred as Bridget Veland in The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, alongside its sequel The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants 2. She appeared opposite Justin Long in the comedy Accepted and gained notability and widespread recognition in the CW teen drama television series Gossip Girl. Lively also starred alongside Ben Affleck in the crime thriller The Town, and appeared with her future husband Ryan Reynolds in Green Lantern. She was in the ensemble Cast of Savages and garnered acclaim for portraying the titular character in romantic fantasy The Age of Adeline. She appeared in survivor horror film The Shallows and psychological drama All I See Is You. Actress Blake Lively, however, got herself banned from Disneyland. Well before she became an actress, Lively was caught attempting to sneak into Disneyland for free. Obviously, Disney doesn't play. So the Gossip Girl alum was quickly caught, booted from the park, and banned for the next year. Luckily, the happiest place on earth, however, is forgiving, so after her year was up, Lively was able to return. Number 8, Charlie Sheen is banned from the Plaza Hotel in New York City. Charlie Sheen is an American actor. He's appeared in films such as Platoon, Wall Street, Young Guns, The Rookie, The Three Musketeers, and The Arrival. In the 2000s, when Sheen replaced Michael J. Fox as the star of ABC's Spin City, his portrayal of Charlie Crawford earned him a Golden Globe Award for Best Actor. He then starred as Charlie Harper on the CBS sitcom 2.5 Men, for which he received multiple Golden Globe and Primetime Emmy nominations. In 2010, Sheen was the highest paid actor on television, earning $1.8 million per episode on 2.5 Men. Now, if you love Home Alone, you know all about the New York City's beloved Plaza Hotel. Unfortunately, Charlie Sheen is no longer welcome to stay in the establishment when he visits the Big Apple. The 2.5 Men alum was once ejected from the hotel when he ripped his hotel suit to shreds, while he was naked and hopped up on substances. Then NYPD had to be called in to handle the situation, and the Plaza said that Charlie Sheen is no longer welcome in their establishment. Number 7, Nicki Minaj is banned from Dorchester Hotel in London. Nicki Minaj is a rapper, singer, and songwriter based in the United States. She's known for her musical versatility, sharp lyrics, animated flow in her rapping, alter egos, and accents. Minaj first gained recognition after releasing 3 mixtapes between 2007 and 2009. Her debut album Pink Friday topped the American Billboard 200 chart with the album's 5th single, Super Bass, reaching number 3 on the American Billboard Hot 100. It was later certified diamond by the Recording Industry Association of America. However, Nicki Minaj is banned from the Dorchester Hotel in London because her fans, or barbs as they're called, almost set the place ablaze. As soon as the rapper arrived at the hotel, she was swarmed by rabid fans. The fans refused to leave and even began spraying graffiti in the hotel elevator. Needless to say, the Dorchester staff was not pleased, and the Queen rapper was asked to find other accommodations. Number 6, Lil Wayne was banned from all NBA games and events. Lil Wayne is an American rapper, singer, songwriter, and record executive. He's commonly regarded as one of the most influential hip-hop artists of his generation, and often cited as one of the greatest rappers of all time. His career began in 1995 at the age of 12 when he was signed by rapper Birdman, joining Cash Money Records as the youngest member on the label. From then on, Wayne was the flagship artist for Cash Money Records, before ending his association with the company in June 2018. In 1995, Wayne was put in a duo with label mate BG, at the time known as Lil Doggy. True Story released that year, although Wayne, at the time known by Baby D, only appeared on 3 tracks. And the famous rapper also told his fans that he'd been banned from any and all NBA events. In his anger, Wayne took to Twitter to trash talk the NBA for disinviting him to all their scheduled games and events. He claimed it was all at the request of Miami Heat. Number 5, Alec Baldwin is banned from the Philippines. Alec Baldwin is an American actor, comedian, and producer. In his early career, Baldwin played both leading and supporting roles in a variety of films, such as Tim Burton's Beetlejuice, Mike Nicholas's Working Girl, Married to the Mob, and Oliver Stone's Talk Radio. Since then, he has worked with directors such as Woody Allen in Alice, To Rome with Love, and Blue Jasmine. His performance in the drama The Cooler garnered him a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. He has done voice work for the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, Madagascar Escape to Africa, Rise of the Guardians, and the Boss Baby film franchise. Alec Baldwin also got banned from the Philippines for a comment he made on David Letterman about buying mail-order brides from the country. Philippine officials were not amused, and they quickly issued an immigration ban for Baldwin. The actor issued an apology, calling the statement a misguided joke. Unfortunately, the Philippines was not convinced enough to remove the ban. Number 4, Lindsay Lohan is banned from Chateau Marmont in West Hollywood. Lindsay Lohan is an American actress and singer. Raised on Long Island, Lohan was signed to Ford Models at the age of 3, having appeared as a regular on the television soap opera Another World at the age of 10. Her breakthrough came in the Walt Disney Pictures film The Parent Trap. The film's success led to appearances in the television films Life Size and Get a Clue, and the big screen productions Freaky Friday and Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen. Lohan's early work won her childhood stardom, while the teen comedy hit Mean Girls affirmed her status as a teen idol and catapulted Lohan to the Hollywood A-list. She became known as a triple threat after singing with Casablanca Records and releasing 2 studio albums. The Personal Certified Speak and Gold Certified a little more personal. However, it's one thing to get kicked out of a hotel for trashing the place, and quite another to be booted for massive amounts of unpaid bills. Lindsay Lohan currently lives overseas, but if she ever returned to the States full-time, she would not be welcome to stay at the Chateau Marmont in West Hollywood. The Mean Girls actress was banned from the hotel because she once owed them over $46,000. Number 3, Ozzy Osbourne is banned from San Antonio, Texas. Ozzy Osbourne is an English singer, songwriter, and television personality. He rose to prominence during the 1970s as a lead vocalist of the heavy metal band Black Sabbath, during which period he adopted the nickname Prince of Darkness. Osbourne was fired from Black Sabbath in 1979 due to substance problems, but he went on to have a successful solo career, releasing 12 studio albums, the first 7 of which received multi-platinum certifications in the US. Osbourne has since reunited with Black Sabbath on several occasions. He rejoined in 1997 and helped record the group's final studio album, 13, before they embarked on a farewell tour that ended with a February 2017 performance in their hometown, Birmingham. His longevity and success have earned him the informal title Godfather of Metal, but America isn't a country that Ozzy Osbourne can just roam freely in. The Black Sabbath frontman was banned from San Antonio, Texas, for using the restroom on a relic. Osbourne urinated on a monument dedicated to the Alamo. He was picked up by police and banned from the entire city as a result. Luckily, the rocker was able to get back into San Antonio's good favor after he donated $10,000 to a charity that maintains the property. Number 2, Hugh Grant is banned from The Daily Show. When you watch him in various rom-coms and in different interviews over the years, British actor Hugh Grant seems like a gentleman and a nice guy. But apparently he has a rude and nasty streak. According to Jon Stewart, Grant appeared on The Daily Show and commented that he had better places to be, and the actor also allegedly complained about a clip the show used for the movie he was promoting. Number 1, Ariana Grande is banned from Wolfie Donuts in California. It's one thing to be rude, and it's another thing entirely to be both rude and disgusting. I'm not sure what was going through Ariana Grande's mind when she rolled into Wolfie Donuts in California and began licking the donuts on display. The Sweetener singer was caught on camera putting her saliva on delicious pastries and whispering, "I hate America." Wolfie Donuts was so disturbed by the singer's behavior that they said they would be pressing charges against the singer and banning her from ever returning. Number 10, Russell Brand. Russell Brand is an English comedian and actor known for his flamboyant style and manner. Brand has received 3 British Comedy Awards: Best Newcomer, Best Live Stand-Up, and the Award for Outstanding Contribution to Comedy. After beginning his career as a comedian and later becoming an MTV presenter in the UK, in 2004 Brand gained a role as the host of Big Brother's Big Mouth, a Big Brother spin-off. But back in 2014, Brand triggered an immense national controversy after explicitly bashing the Queen and the royal family in his book Revolution. In the book, Brand highlighted, "I mean, in England we have the Queen for F's sake. We have to call her things like Your Majesty, like she's all majestic. She's just a person. also adding, "Your Highness, what the F is that? What? She's high up, above us, at the top of a class pyramid on a shelf of money with her own face on it." Number 9, Danny Boyle. Danny Boyle is an English director and producer. He's known for his work on films including Shallow Grave, Trainspotting and its sequel T2 Trainspotting, The Beach, 28 Days Later, Sunshine, Slumdog Millionaire, 127 Hours, Steve Jobs, and Yesterday. But while speaking with The Guardian back in 2013, the director highlighted how he believed that the monarchy should be abolished, and how if the British public still wished for a royal family, then the only fair way to go about that should be through a public election. Boyle stated, "I think the pressure on them is utterly impossible, as recent events show. It's a ludicrous spotlight they're under. You can still have a royal family if you like, but actually have an elected head of state." Number 8, Colin Firth. Colin Firth is an English actor. He was identified in the mid-1980s with the Brit pack of rising young British actors, undertaking a challenging series of roles, including leading roles in A Month in the Country, Tumbledown, and Valmont. His portrayal of Mr. Darcy in the 1995 television adaptation of Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice led to widespread attention. However, despite having done an outstanding job portraying Queen Elizabeth II's father in The King's Speech, the actor has previously spoken up about his doubts with the nature of the royal family. During a CNN interview, Firth highlighted how, despite their good morals, he just couldn't agree with the totalitarian way in which the royals came into power. The actor stated, "I really like voting, it's one of my favorite things," before later adding how unelected bodies were a problem for him. Number 7, Johnny Marr. Johnny Marr is an English musician, songwriter, and singer. He first achieved fame as a guitarist and co-songwriter of the Smiths, who were active from 1982 to 1987. He has since performed with numerous other bands and embarked on a solo career. Born in Manchester to Irish parents, Marr formed his first band at the age of 13. The Smiths attained commercial success and were critically acclaimed with Marr's jangle pop guitar style becoming distinctive of the band's sound, but separated in 1987 due to personal differences. Since then, Marr has been a member of The Pretenders, Electronic, Modest Mouse, and The Cribs, and has become a prolific session musician, working with names such as Pet Shop Boys, Talking Heads, Brian Ferry, and Hans Zimmer. However, in a 2011 interview with NME magazine, Marr said he has a few problems with the monarchy, from serious to less serious. One thing about the queen that bugs Marr, her resting bleach face. Why does she have to deal with her subjects with such a dour face? Surely her life can't be that hard, he said. When asked if he'd accept an honor or title from Her Majesty, such as a knighthood or being named a member of the Order of the British Empire, Marr replied, "F no." Number 6, Honor Blackman. Honor Blackman was an English actress known for the role in The Avengers, Goldfinger, Shaleko, and Jason and the Argonauts. She's also known for a role as Laura West in the ITV sitcom The Upper Hand. In 2014, she was offered the chance to become a CBE, Commander of the British Empire, but she turned down the honor. "They rang you beforehand and asked if you'd like to accept, and I think they were quite shocked when I declined," she said. "But since I'm a Republican, I thought it would be somewhat hypocritical to pop up to the palace." Number 5, Noel Gallagher. Noel Gallagher is an English singer, songwriter, and musician. He was a chief songwriter, lead guitarist, and co-lead vocalist of the rock band Oasis until their split in 2009. After leaving Oasis, he formed Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds, and he is one of the most successful songwriters in British music history. As the writer of 8 UK #1 singles, and co-writer of a further #1, and the sole or primary writer of 10 UK #1 studio albums, he is widely considered one of the most influential songwriters in the history of British rock music, cited by numerous major subsequent artists as an influence. In a comedic article posted by the Rolling Stone detailing the extensive list of things that Gallagher has been mad at, there's a quote of him outlining his violent wishes for the royal family. The singer stated, quote, "I wouldn't wish the royal family dead, just seriously maimed. I'd take a couple legs off." Number 4, Jeremy Corbyn. Jeremy Corbyn is a British politician who served as a leader of the opposition and leader of the Labour Party from 2015 to 2020. On the political left of the Labour Party, Corbyn describes himself as a socialist. He's been a member of Parliament for Islington North since 1983. Corbyn sits in the House of Commons as an independent, having had the whip removed in October 2020. But he was overwhelmed by the media in 2015 after he refused to sing God Save the Queen during a Battle of Britain memorial event. And in 2017, an old interview was unearthed in which he called for the royal family to be dissolved. "I think it's time that we just move on," and said, "When the Queen completes her reign, wouldn't that be an appropriate time to call it a day and have an elected head of state?" he told GMTV. Number 3, Eddie Izzard. Edwards is an English stand-up comedian, actor, and activist. Her comedic style takes the form of what appears to the audience as rambling, whimsical monologues in self-referential pantomime. She starred in the 2007 television series The Riches, and has appeared in numerous films including Ocean's 12, Ocean's 13, Shadow of the Vampire, The Cat's Meow, and Valkyrie. But back in 2014, she spoke up about her disagreement on hereditary privilege to The Independent as she made her claims against the royal family. Quote, "I am not into monarchy. Hereditary privilege is crazy to me. We should widen the gene pool and elect a head of state for 5 years." Number 2, Stacey Solomon. Stacey is an English singer and television personality. She finished in 3rd place on the 6th series of The X Factor in 2009, and won the 10th series of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here in 2010. Her debut single, a cover of Driving Home for Christmas, was released in 2011, followed by her debut studio album, Shy, in 2015. In 2016, Solomon presented I'm a Celebrity Extra Camp and began appearing as a panelist on the ITV talk show Loose Women. But Stacey made headlines after footage of her criticizing the royal family resurfaced just in time for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. The 2018 clip showed Solomon on the British daytime show Loose Women expressing her confusion as to why so many people obsess over the royal family when in reality they are just exactly the same as any other person. Solomon stated, quote, "I don't get why we're so obsessed with these humans that are exactly the same. It could be us four sitting there, I just don't get it." She later added, "I would work hard if the country paid me to have like 12 houses and work really hard." Now coming in at number 1, Daniel Radcliffe. Daniel Radcliffe is an English actor. He rose to fame at age 12 when he began portraying Harry Potter in the film series of the same name, and has held other various film and theater roles. Over his career, Radcliffe has received various awards and nominations. Radcliffe made his acting debut at age 10 in the BBC One television film David Copperfield, followed by his feature film debut in The Tailor of Panama. Over the next decade, he played the role of Harry Potter in 7 sequels, ending with Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 in 2011. During this period, he became one of the world's highest paid actors and gained worldwide fame, popularity, and critical acclaim. However, at a 2017 interview with Daily Beast, he stated that his patriotism has nothing to do with the royals. Radcliffe stated, quote, "I am not a royalist, not at all. I'm definitely a Republican in the British sense of the word. I just don't see a use of the monarchy, though I'm a fierce patriot. I'm proud of being English, but I think the monarchy symbolizes a lot of what's wrong with the country." And that is all. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. It must take some real confidence to randomly start up a crazy business and then have it flop. Or maybe it just takes millions of dollars. I'm your host, Michaela, and today I'm going to talk about the top 10 failed celebrity businesses that cost them millions. And make sure to subscribe and hit that bell to stay updated on all our videos. Starting off this countdown at number 10, Curt Schilling. Few business flameouts have been as bad as the one involving baseball pitching great Curt Schilling and his video game startup company 38 Studios. Based in Rhode Island, the company produced exactly one video game, Kingdoms of Amalur. In 2012, Schilling laid off all 379 staffers at 38 Studios, then filed bankruptcy. But the problem extended just beyond his personal and business loans. Schilling and his partners had taken $75 million in loans from the state of Rhode Island. State officials had floated bonds to back the loans, luring Schilling's company away from Massachusetts, to which they could not repay. Everyone then very quickly lured up. The state sued, claiming 38 Studios used false financial statements to secure the public loans. In September 2016, Schilling and former 38 Studios executives agreed to pay just $2.5 million back to the state, leaving taxpayers on the hook for millions. The bankruptcy filing shows the company had $150 million in debt versus just $22 million in assets. Schilling says he spent $50 million of his own personal money on the business as well. Number 9, Britney Spears. Named after Spears' two favorite places, New York and Louisiana, the business Nyla opened in June 2002 in Manhattan's Dillon Hotel. The restaurant originally featured dishes with a Cajun and Southern flair, with dishes such as Southern sushi and fried okra, with prices ranging from $16 to $26 a dish. According to People.com, however, the restaurant received terrible reviews, was cited for several health code violations, and eventually began to suffer from financial problems. In an attempt to save the business, People reported Nyla underwent a menu overhaul in which the Southern cuisine was dumped in favor of Italian dishes, but this was not enough to keep the restaurant afloat. Less than 6 months after it opened, Spears severed all ties with the business, the magazine said. Number 8, Steven Spielberg. The brainchild of director Steven Spielberg and DreamWorks CEO Jeffrey Katzenberg. Dive was a submarine-themed restaurant in the shape of a neon yellow submersible. The restaurant's visitors were surrounded by metal catwalks, pressure gauges, and torpedo-shaped seats. Every half hour, the restaurant would simulate a dive, and red lights would flash all around the room. Dive opened in 1994 in Los Angeles, and in 1995 1995, a second restaurant opened in Las Vegas. The menu focused on submarine sandwiches and contained puns such as substantial salads and sublime desserts. The restaurant also generated additional income by selling souvenirs. Despite its early success, the restaurant found difficulty in attracting locals as repeat customers. Sales fell short of projections and the sale of the merchandise became very slow. The Los Angeles Dive closed its doors in 1999 and the Las Vegas restaurant followed soon after. Number 7. Nicolas Cage. In the early 2000s, Nicolas Cage made as much as $40 million a year, but by 2009 he had filed for bankruptcy. Well, it was at least partially because of bad real estate investments and property management. For example, in 2006 he purchased Schloss Niedstein Castle in Germany for $2.3 million. The agent who sold him the property, Sabine Gamel, said the on-site inspection didn't take long. According to Gamel, when he arrived to tour the castle, Cage walked through the gate and almost immediately said, "I think this is for me." Except it really wasn't. In addition to the $2.3 million he paid for the 11th century castle, he reportedly spent double that on mostly just exterior renovations, but never got beyond that. He ended up settling it 3 years later, the year of his bankruptcy. His heart was not in it, the local mayor said. Unfortunately, that can't be said for his millions of dollars. Number 6. Nikki Hilton. As an heir to the Hilton family, Nikki Hilton should have the hotel business running through her veins, but as a disastrous attempt at starting up her own hotel chain proved otherwise. Hilton's first venture was planned as a 94-room luxury hotel on Miami's Ocean Drive, with a second location planned for Chicago. An Italian fashion designer was brought in to design the hotel suites. The hotel was scheduled to open in time for the 2007 Super Bowl in Miami and reportedly advertised a $1,000 per night at Super Bowl package. Unfortunately, plagued by delays, the hotel never actually opened its doors. The project filed for bankruptcy protection in 2007, and Hilton was later sued by the condo hotel developer, who claimed she didn't keep up her end of their business agreement. The developer said Hilton had promised to promote the project, and that she misrepresented her associates. The property eventually was put up for auction, and the Chicago project was abandoned. Halfway at number 5, Debbie Reynolds. In 1992, legendary film and music star Debbie Reynolds paid $2.2 million for the old Paddlewick Casino and Hotel, off but still near the Strip. She sunk $2 million of her own money into renovations, and then, when the Debbie Reynolds Casino and Hotel went public, raised enough cash to put another $7 million into the hotel. The Casino Hotel opened in 1993 and had an old Hollywood classic Las Vegas decor. It also featured a 500-seat auditorium where Reynolds performed. However, Reynolds did not have any part of the casino, which was operated by a separate company that kept all the revenue. Not a super great deal for Reynolds. From the start, not enough cash flow came in to service the debt. Even after management sold timeshares at the hotel, the monthly negative cash flow reached about $450,000 a month. At the point, Reynolds' people tried to pursue a gaming license to move the casino into the end of the business, but without cash flow from a hotel, they couldn't secure financing. And without financing, they couldn't get a gaming license. So it was pretty much game over. The hotel and Reynolds then personally declared bankruptcy in 1997. Number 4, Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan was looking for a business opportunity, and unfortunately he settled on Pastamania, a fast food restaurant in the Mall of America. Customers were given the opportunity to feast on a variety of pasta-based items, including Hulk U's and Hulkaroos. The restaurant was even promoted through World Championship Wrestling, but no amount of marketing could keep the business from closing its doors less than a year after opening. Hogan, however, hasn't fully given up on being an entrepreneur. Since then, he has launched his own energy drink, Hogan Energy, and has also attached his name to a line of microwavable hamburgers and chicken sandwiches called Hulkster Burgers, although who knows how long that's gonna last. Number 3, Mark Twain. Mark Twain, real name Samuel Clemens, as everyone who stayed awake in English class knows, is one of the most beloved American authors and also one of the country's first celebrities. He also had a bit of money, including some from his wife's inheritance, so he had a little bit of cash in his pocket in 1880, which is when he met James Page, an investor who was working on an automatic typesetting machine. The machine, Page claimed, would do better than human typesetters, and better than the linotype machines of the day. As Twain was very impressed, he gave him $5,000. 7 years later, he'd put $50,000 and an additional $3,000 per month as the project's main backer. He eventually bought the rights to the machine in 1889. As history tells us, linotype cornered the market on typesetting and Twain ended up bankrupt, with the Page compositor the biggest of his poor investments. However, he came back from bankruptcy and even paid off all his creditors, even though he was not legally obligated to do so. Number 2, Kanye West. Kanye West, known for having an interest in fashion, had been talking about starting his own fashion line for years, and in 2009 he attempted it with Pastel, but West's clothing business never had a fighting chance. 2 days after photos of his fashion lines were posted on the internet, the business folded. Shortly before, West's reputation took a hit after he interrupted Taylor Swift's acceptance speech at the MTV Video Music Awards, declaring that another artist should have won. Many people speculate that this stunt contributed to the fashion line's demise. Now coming in at number 1, Jennifer Lopez. In an effort to celebrate her Puerto Rican heritage, Jennifer Lopez opened Mondres in 2002 in Pasadena, California, of course. The menu focused on Latin food that Lopez had enjoyed growing up: ceviche, ropa vieja, and a version of rice, with dishes priced between $30 and $50. Despite a star-studded opening, the restaurant received lackluster reviews, and 6 years later, the sign was placed at the front door that said, "Mondre's will be closed until further notice." In addition to Mondre's, Lopez has also experienced failures in the fashion industry. Before it became common for celebrities to have fashion lines, Lopez found success in her clothing line J.Lo in 2003. Afterwards, she launched 2 additional lines, Just Sweet in 2003 and Sweet Face in 2005. With the recession, her initial clothing line J.Lo was unable to remain profitable and was closed in the United States in 2007. Her additional lines, however, also didn't find success. Lopez may find success aiming at an older audience. However, the singer had announced in 2011 that a new line would come out that fall at the store Kohl's, and it was doing well until 2020 when the store announced they would be cutting all ties with J.Lo's business. Kohl's, however, said that they cut ties with other companies as well because of the pandemic. Some celebrities have lots of money, or maybe I should say had. I'm your host, Michaela, and today we are talking about the top 10 richest celebrities who are now broke. And make sure to subscribe if you enjoy our content because it really helps us out. Starting off this countdown at number 10, Michael Jackson. When pop superstar Michael Jackson's troubled life ended in 2009, it wasn't obvious he was in financial distress. With hindsight, it should have been clear that tens of millions of records sold and countless sold-out shows weren't enough to support a lavish life poked by legal troubles and questionable investments. Jackson's mental health struggles prevented him from touring during the last decade of his life, hampering his earning potential. Though he never declared bankruptcy, he likely would have no choice had he lived that much longer. Number 9, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp has been acting since the 1980s. He's earned as much as $20 million per film and shared in the profits of some of the biggest hits, including the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. Yet as his star faded and outrageous spending habits began to bite, Johnny Depp nearly lost everything. He's back in the upswing today, however, financially at least, but never officially declared bankruptcy. Depp's financial troubles became more than a mere rumor in 2017, when he sued his longtime business managers Joel and Robert Mandel for fraud, among other things. In 2016, the Mandels hit him with an ultimatum. His cash was nearly gone, so he'd have to sell his beloved French estate and other valuable possessions or face financial ruin. To say that Depp was hands-off with his own finances was an understatement, but even he was shocked that he'd managed to burn through $650 million since 2000. Depp's lawsuit accused that they'd mismanaged his fortune and taken way too much for themselves. They fired back in a countersuit accusing him of refusing to curtail his selfish, reckless, and irresponsible lifestyle. Johnny Depp managed to avoid declaring bankruptcy thanks to large part to the long-running success of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, from which he earned more than $300 million in combined salary and profit sharing. But then there was a legal battle between Depp and fellow actor and ex-wife Amber Heard. Financially speaking, Depp came out ahead, with the jury ordering Heard to pay Depp $10 million and Depp to pay her $2 million. Though it remains to be seen whether the affair will damage his reputation and dent his earning power. Number 8, 50 Cent. Curtis James Jackson III, better known for his stage name 50 Cent, was an instant sensation when he burst onto the hip-hop scene in the early 2000s. Over his career, 50 Cent sold more than 30 million albums and earned dozens of music awards, including a Grammy and 13 Billboard awards. At one point, he was the second wealthiest hip-hop artist in America behind Jay-Z. 50 Cent's music sales steadily declined after peaking in the mid-2000s, along with his income. Despite scattered business successes, the rapper spent heavily on a lavish lifestyle featuring Rolls-Royce automobiles and the same Connecticut mansion Mike Tyson lost a few years earlier. He publicly shared a tape featuring a rival rapper's ex-girlfriend, triggering a lawsuit that cost him $5 million. He also lost more than $2 million on Sleek by 50, a headphone venture, and was then hit with a judgment totaling more than $18 million for allegedly stealing the design for that product. In 2015, he declared bankruptcy to restructure and slim down these obligations, losing much of his fortune in the process. Number 7, Donald Trump. Former President Donald Trump came to fame as a bash New York real estate developer with an outrageous hairstyle, high-profile romantic exploits, and a gift for self-promotion. Trump inherited the family business from his father Fred Trump, a successful New York City builder and landlord. 6 Trump-owned businesses filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy in the 1990s and 2000s. 5 were gaming enterprises, including the famed Trump Taj Mahal and its parent company, Trump Hotels and Casino Resorts. Most occurred during or following the major real estate downturns of the early 1990s and middle to late 2000s. The first bankruptcy filed in 1991 was arguably the most devastating for Trump's lifestyle. Trump funded the $1 billion Trump Taj Mahal with loads of high-interest debt. Within a year of opening, the property was more than $3 billion in the hole, and Trump was personally on the hook for $900 million. Trump Hotels and Casino Resorts is more than $1.8 billion in debt when it first filed for Chapter 11 in 2004. So overall, to summarize, he's broke and a really stupid person. Number 6, Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather earned more than $1 billion over the course of his fighting career. Yet by 2020, Mayweather had persistent rumors that he'd blown his entire fortune. His bizarre decision to charge over $1,000 for a private video call, a trivial sum for a multi-millionaire, only heightened speculation that he was drowning in debt. So did a 2022 bout with YouTuber Logan Paul that was widely criticized as a cynical publicity stunt. Halfway at number 5, Mike Tyson. Widely regarded as one of the greatest boxers of the modern era, Tyson exploded onto the screen as a junior boxer in the early 1980s. He earned the WBC heavyweight champion title just 4 months after his 20th birthday, becoming the youngest boxer ever to reach that mark. According to a 2003 report by the New York Times, Tyson earned approximately $400 million during the first 18 years of his boxing career, but all the money in the world couldn't help Tyson. Out of the ring, he had multiple run-ins with the law, including an assault conviction that landed him in prison for 3 years. Tyson finally declared personal bankruptcy in 2003. He's devoted his time since to rehabilitating his reputation. Tyson ranked in $30 million per fight at the peak of his career, but bled money as readily as he earned it. In 2003, the New York Times detailed his lavish spending on everything from jewelry, mansions, and vehicles to Siberian tigers. In December 2002, he bought a $173,000 gold chain on credit, adding to the $27 million in debts listed in his 2003 bankruptcy filing. Tyson's largest debts included a $17.4 million in tax liabilities to the US and British authorities, a $9 million divorce settlement with former wife Monica Turner, several million in obligations to a gaggle of lawyers and producers, and more than $300,000 to a limousine company. His largest assets including a Connecticut mansion he sold to fund the divorce settlement and 2 extravagant Las Vegas properties. At the time of his bankruptcy filing, Tyson was pursuing a $100 million lawsuit against boxing promoter Don King, who Tyson claimed robbed him out of millions of dollars in revenue. In 2004, he settled with King for $14 million. Tyson was then bankrupt after losing most of his physical assets and setting aside a substantial share of his future earnings to pay his creditors. Number 4, Wesley Snipes. For a minute in the 1990s, you couldn't walk past a movie theater without seeing Wesley Snipes' name, but the action star's one-liners couldn't hide an accumulation of poor financial decision-making forever. Between 2001 and 2006, Snipes just didn't pay federal income taxes, at least not anywhere near what he owed to the IRS, despite earning millions every year. A 3-year prison sentence and nearly $10 million in penalties was a result. But I mean, maybe follow the law and you won't have that issue. Number 3, Curt Schilling. Veteran Boston Red Sox pitcher Curt played through a nasty ankle injury in 2004 World Series, helping his team win the championship and erase an 86-year curse in the process. He had then founded a small game development company in 2006 and appended his involvement after retiring in 2009. A slimmed-down version of the game titled Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning debuted at Comic-Con 2010. The fact that 38 Studios was run by a well-regarded New England sports icon made the company's ambitious plans easier to swallow. In 2010, Rhode Island state government approved a $75 million economic development loan to 38 Studios. The loan rode to the company's promise to complete its planned games and create 450 jobs in the small state within 2 years. Within a year, it had become obvious that 38 Studios would not meet its timetable. The company then failed to make $1.1 million loan payment to Rhode Island, stopped making payroll, laid off its entire staff by email, and went bankrupt. Though Curt avoided criminal penalties and personal bankruptcy, his reputation as a businessman was ruined and his personal finances suffered greatly. According to the Toronto Star, his $50 million net worth at retirement shrank to just $1 million in 4 years, forcing him to sell off prized personal possessions. That included a bloody sock from the 2004 championship run. Number 2, Michael Vick. Gifted NFL quarterback Michael Vick is best known for the infamous dogfighting scandal that brought his career to a temporary halt and forever tainted his legacy. Vick's 2007 dogfighting conviction resulted in a 21-month prison term and forced him to declare bankruptcy the following year. Previously, Vick ranked up some major achievements. In 2001, he was selected first in the NFL draft, becoming the first black quarterback to earn that honor. He reached the playoffs twice with the Atlanta Falcons and made 3 Pro Bowl rosters. And then it all fell apart. First, he spent money freely during his early career and managed his wealth poorly. Apparently, he earned nearly $40 million per year at his peak, an outrageous rate at the time even for a top-tier NFL quarterback. Vick made some poor investing decisions too, including a $1.6 million bet with a business partner who used his money to buy cars and inflate his own salary. Vick then filed for bankruptcy petition in 2008, listing assets of less than $50 million against debts of up to $50 million. Now coming in at number 1, Nicolas Cage. Many people don't realize Nicolas Cage is Hollywood royalty. Cage found success in a string of romantic comedies through the 1980s, then switched to dramatic and action roles through the 1990s, earning his way into the Hollywood A-list. He pocketed an Academy Award for 1995's Leaving Las Vegas and was nominated for 2002's adaptation. According to Finance Buzz, he pocketed $150 million between 1996 and 2011. During that time, he earned $20 million apiece for blockbusters like Gone in 60 Seconds and National Treasure. However, by 2009, much of Cage's fortune had vanished in a hurricane of lavish spending, and the star faced legal troubles that further added to his financial debt. Starting in the 1990s, Cage embarked on a decade-long buying spree to rival Mike Tyson's. His rumored purchases extended from the normal to the bizarre, but all were expensive, including several supercars, rare jewelry, a shark, a crocodile, 2 king cobras, at least 1 dinosaur skull, a private jet, a pyramid tombstone in New Orleans cemetery, a 26-acre Rhode Island estate, a private island in the Bahamas, and so much more. Later, the mother of Cage's eldest son sued him for $13 million and ownership of her house, which was at the time in Cage's name. Ultimately, Cage lost his California home to foreclosure, though he had the last laugh when it failed to sell at auction, perhaps due to its questionable decor. He also lost a smaller Nevada property to foreclosure and offloaded many of his exotic personal possessions to pay off his debts. I've gotten into some disagreements with people before, but nothing so bad where there's been a lawsuit. I'm your host Michaela, and today we are talking about the top 10 most expensive celebrity lawsuits that almost ended their careers. And make sure to subscribe because it really helps us out. But that's enough, let's get started now. Starting off at number 10, Britney Spears versus Jamie Spears. The legal battles between pop icon Britney Spears and her father Jamie Spears have come more than a decade in the making. Jamie was the dominant member of the team, running his daughter's 13-year conservatorship, which finally ended in November 2021. Since reclaiming her freedom and autonomy, Britney has been keen to make these legal battles one step further. During her heartbreaking testimony amidst her conservatorship hearings, Britney alleged that her father mishandled her finances, profited off her work, and more. More recently, a former FBI agent concluded that Jamie Spears was spying on his daughter and surveillancing her bedroom, according to ET. Although this legal fight feels as though it's been a long time coming, we have a feeling it's just getting started. Number 9, Janice Dickinson versus Bill. In late November 2017, former supermodel Janice Dickinson was, according to The Hollywood Reporter, able to proceed with a renewed defamation case against former comedian Bill, with a majority of her older lawsuits still in use. A California Court of Appeals also ruled that she could pursue legal recourse against Bill's lawyer, Marty Singer, for defamation. The lawsuit stems from Dickinson coming forward in early 2017 with allegations that Bill used substances on her and intimately hurt her in the 1980s. So Singer, acting in the interest of Bill, said, quote, sent demand letters that asserted that Dickinson's story was fabricated and is an outrageous defamatory lie. Further, Singer threatened to sue Good Morning America if the ABC show proceeded with a planned segment with Dickinson. The following day, Singer issued a public statement again repeating that Dickinson's story of intimacy hurting was a lie and different from what she had written in her own autobiography, according to THR. THR further reported that Bill, quote, brought a motion of strike her complaint under California's anti-SLAPP statute, which provides early resource for individuals targeted for First Amendment activity. After Bill brought the motion and arguments were made, Dickinson attempted to amend her complaint to add Singer as a co-defendant. Quote, the trial judge wouldn't allow this, but the original ruling was slapped down by another judge, allowing Dickinson's case to proceed. Number 8, Nicki Minaj and Tracy Chapman. On January 7, 2021, the legal battle between Nicki Minaj and Tracy Chapman over the former's unauthorized sampling of Chapman's song, Baby Can I Hold You, finally came to an end. Back in 2018, Minaj publicly claimed she had, quote, no idea that her song sampled Chapman's and begged the singer to give her rights so she wouldn't have to delay her new album release, but Chapman repeatedly refused. And 2 years later, she accepted Minaj's offer of $450,000 to settle. I'm glad to have this matter resolved and grateful for this legal outcome, which affirms that artists' rights are protected by law and should be respected by other artists, Chapman told NBC News. I was asked in this situation numerous times for permission to use my song. In each instance, politely, in a timely manner, I unequivocally said no. Apparently, Miss Minaj chose not to hear and use my composition despite my clear and express intentions, she said. While Minaj ultimately cut the song from her album, it was leaked and made its way around the internet nonetheless. With this legal ruling, further circulation of the song was banned. Number 7, Taylor Swift versus David Mueller. Radio DJ David Mueller allegedly grabbed Taylor Swift at a fan meet and greet in 2013 and then tried to sue the superstar for cash when he lost his job over the intimate assault. He claimed the contact was accidental, but Swift testified saying, quote, it was a definite grab, a very long grab. She countersued him for a symbolic $1 because she wanted the trial to serve as a, quote, example to other women. In a championing moment during the trial, his lawyer asked Swift how she felt about him losing his job over the encounter, to which Swift responded, quote, I'm not going to allow you or your client to make me feel in any way that this is my fault. She added, here we are years later and I'm being blamed for the unfortunate events of his life that are the product of his decisions, not mine. Swift then won the suit in August 2017. Number 6, FKA Twigs versus Shia LaBeouf. In December 2020, the New York Times revealed musician FKA Twigs' lawsuit against actor ex-Shia LaBeouf alleging, quote, relentless abuse, including intimate battery, assault, and infliction of emotional distress. Her account to the Times alleges horrifying physical, psychological, and emotional abuse at the actor's hands, and another one of his exes, Carolyn Foe, came forward with similar stories as well. The lawsuit says that he kept a loaded firearm by the bed and that she was scared to use the bathroom at night lest he mistake her for an intruder and shoot her, the Times reported of Twigs' account. He didn't let her wear clothing to bed, and would spin a trifling disagreement over an artist she liked and he didn't, for example into an all-night fight, depriving her of sleep. In the lawsuit, Miss Barnett and Miss Faux said that Mr. LaBeouf did not like if they spoke or looked at male waiters. In an interview, Miss Barnett said she learned to keep her eyes down when men spoke to her. It continued. It may be surprising to you to learn that I was in an emotionally and physically abusive relationship, Twings wrote on Twitter the day the Times published its story. It was hard for me to process too, during and after. I never thought something like this would happen to me. Number 5, Ed Sheeran vs. Sammy Chokri. A lawsuit saw Ed Sheeran sued by musician Sammy Chokri for copyright infringement for his song Shape of You. Sammy claimed that Ed Sheeran had sampled his 2015 hit Oh My without any permission or credit for the tune. On the 6th of April 2022, Sheeran won the court case, with the judge ruling that he had not plagiarized the song, as Sammy would have to prove that Ed Sheeran had listened to the piece before releasing the hit Shape of You. Otherwise, it was merely just a coincidence, but it almost ended his career. Number 4, Kelly Clarkson vs. Starstruck Management. In a lawsuit we definitely did not see coming, Kelly Clarkson was forced to file suit against her former management company, Star Trek Management Group, specifically agents Brandon Blackstock, her ex-husband, and Narvel Blackstock, his father. This came just 4 months after she first shocked everyone by filing for divorce after nearly 7 years of marriage. Though the legal action that's followed has certainly shed some light on why they broke up. Clarkson, however, wasn't the first to sue. That would be Starstruck, which claimed the singer owed them $1.4 million in unpaid management fees. Clarkson hit back by responding that they'd never had an official contract and that neither Narvel nor Brandon were licensed to operate as her manager, then going on to quietly file a lawsuit in return for having defrauded her out of millions in earnings, claiming Brandon had been charging her exorbitant fees for 13 years for his unlicensed management services. As all this is going down, they're still trying to figure out their custody arrangement and spousal support too, and Brandon's opening offer was $5 million a year from Clarkson. Number 3, Goop vs. California. Gwyneth Paltrow's wellness company Goop was in some hot water back in 2018 when a group of officials from the California Food, Drug, and Medical Device Task Force filed a lawsuit against them for making unsubstantiated claims about the health benefits for some of their products. California prosecutors said that Goop's claims regarding the quote detox egg, like suggesting it could improve bladder control or prevent uterine prolapse, quote, were not supported by competent and reliable science. Ultimately, the judge agreed, stating, "We will vigilantly protect consumers against companies that promise health benefits without the support of good science or any science." Goop settled the lawsuit with a payment of $145,000 and a promise to refund any consumers who purchased the egg between January 12, 2017 and August 31st, 2017. Number 2, Johnny Depp vs. Amber Heard. I know, we've heard all about it, but I feel like it deserves some spot on this list. Quite a few months ago, every topic of conversation would include a mention of the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial. Depp's ex-wife and fellow actor Amber Heard accused him of domestic abuse, which she detailed in a 2018 Washington Post essay. Depp denied all allegations and instead claimed that it was Heard who was violent towards him. As a result, he filed a suit against her for defamation, for which she filed a countersuit alleging the same. Clips of the trial went viral on social media, many of which mocked Heard's responses and that of her legal team. Heard was found liable in all 3 matters of defamation raised and was ordered to pay her ex-husband $10 million, while Depp was found liable on 1 charge of defamation in order to pay her $2 million. Number 1, Astroworld attendees and families versus Travis Scott. Following the Astroworld tragedy that claimed the lives of 10 attendees of the massive live performance event have livid serious lawsuits against Travis Scott, who was performing during the horrible mosh pit. The November 5th concert claimed the lives of 10 and left countless others injured. Scott produced and headlined the annual Houston concert per BuzzFeed News, and has since been dealt with over 200 lawsuits due to the tragedy. Per the outlet, a number of those who filed suits cited quote negligence and quote encouragement of violence. Sources close to Scott maintained that the rapper wasn't aware of the tragedy until hours after his performance. On December 6th, Scott requested via his legal team to be dismissed from at least 11 of the lawsuits filed against him, according to BuzzFeed News. But that is all. Thanks for watching. We will see you next time.